What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about what happened yesterday with Hogwarts Legacy. Now, I couldn't let MBG, Reddit, Idle Sloth, and Account NGT have something to say about the Twitter thread that I made without me also saying something about the Twitter thread I made. So yesterday, I put out a tweet, just a normal Saturday tweet for me, saying 5 more days until supposedly Hogwarts Legacy is shown. Otherwise, someone is very, very wrong. And honestly, I want to just say this right now. I'm talking about Roberto Serrano. I really don't have any problem saying that. I respect the guy as an individual. He's been wrong about many, many things. He's also gotten some things right. I really have put a lot of stock into this, where if he's wrong on this is something pretty huge to be wrong on. So in case anybody was ever wondering who I'm talking about, it's him. He specifically said March 10th, we're going to see an entire state of play of Hogwarts Legacy. I don't know if I believe that, but that's what he said, and we'll see what happens. That's what I also kind of said in that tweet. Now, our friend Troy, right? Troy, former developer on Hogwarts Legacy, responded, and I didn't think it was gonna, anything was gonna happen. But again, he said neither confirming nor denying the rumor, but the timing seems about right to me. I guess we'll see. Smiley face. Now, this was retweeted by Idle Sloth. Again, this made it on Reddit. MBG put this stuff in his video. Account NGT retweeted my tweet and said how he can't corroborate that happening, which is interesting, right? But he does think that the timing also kind of lines up based off of what's happened over the past couple of weeks. So, number one, very cool, what happened yesterday. Number two, no, I do want to say this, right? Because, and I'm not saying like I know more because I've talked to Troy or anything like that, because I don't. But I think, have an okay grasp on how he talks and I guess why he words things the way that he words things. Remember, in the interview he had with me, we kind of spent a lot of time discussing, what he's allowed to say, what he's not allowed to say, those kind of like the drawing of the lines, and his opinions are just that, his opinions. So while I do want to get excited, and I do want to kind of run with the idea that March 10th could really be the day, I also at the same time, though, when reading his tweet, I kind of translate it, or kind of like decipher it in the way that I feel like, and this is just my interpretation of how I feel he's saying it, in that this time period, not necessarily March 10th, but this time period makes a lot of sense. That's how I get, because that's kind of what he told me, right? That's what we were talking about in the interview, where it's like, well, I can't say anything, yes or no, but you base it off of what they've said to us, like out loud, and he's talking about obviously Avalanche or WB Games, and he's talked about it, and he said like it may make sense. So I'm not trying to put words into his mouth. In fact, that's the last thing I want to do, and I think everybody else is putting words into his mouth. So while I do want to get excited, and while I am putting some stock into March 10th, I just want to make sure we're all kind of aware. I do think there's been people, not just for Hogwarts, but for other games, that have dropped hints. I really don't think this is a hint. I will say maybe it's weird that he responded to that specific tweet of mine, right, instead of other ones that I've put out. So you could maybe look into that, but I don't know. I really just see it as he saw the tweet, he wanted to respond, and it lines up, March 10th lines up with this time period that makes sense that we would see Hogwarts Legacy. So as I've said, right, let me just wrap it up here. As I've said, I do think we don't leave March without seeing Hogwarts. I do think March is the month we see it. I don't know if it would necessarily be on its own at a state of play, which, by the way, as I've said in the past, that doesn't even really make sense at all, right? Because Hogwarts is not Sony-owned. State of plays, to my knowledge, now you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, state of plays have never been for a game that's third party. Okay, that's releasing, say even on Xbox. I don't recall, and maybe it has happened, right? I'm okay with being told I'm wrong. I don't recall that ever happening. Normally, it happens with Sony first-party games, and that's happened, right? They throw almost an event for it, right? You can go back to Destruction All-Stars. You can go back to Demon Souls. All of these games had a specific thing where they just kind of showed them, right? So it does make sense to do that, but I don't know if it makes sense to do a Sony state of play for a game that is not a Sony video game. So that's why I've always been kind of shaky on it. But as I've said, I'm paying attention to it just because we have, Roberto saying, this is the date. And if that's wrong, that's something pretty big to be wrong on. And again, Account NGT, I think his stuff being added on, honestly, he kind of said what Troy said, just with his backing being a leaker, right? Where basically, with the stuff that's happened recently, it makes sense. but he doesn't think it's going to be that specific day, or he doesn't know if it's going to be that specific day, so he can't back that claim up. So that's, and really, in the same way, that's exactly what Troy said, just Troy's not a leaker, right? So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow me anywhere, including on Twitter, all my social media is in the description below if you guys want to check it out. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.